These were the gods of Atlantis, ancient Greek mythology. The majority of researchers who dedicated their time to the mystery of Atlantis come to conclude that the kings and masters of Atlantis were the later gods of antiquity in Egypt, Greece, America, Northern Europe. Let's remember the Druids of Scandinavia and England, or Dries, meaning the acorns. You know, they had crowns of oak leaves with acorns, and gave them a special power. These were all Druids from ancient Greece. Now, this conclusion is based on the assertion that the primeval tribes were so filled with amazement at the abilities of the Atlantean refugees that they regarded and accepted them as divinity. In Greek mythology, Zeus was the godfather of the third celestial dynasty and the son of Cronus and Rhea. The Romans referred to him as Jupiter. He was the supreme ruler of Mount Olympus, but could not influence fate. Zeus was head of the 12 Olympic gods, dividing the world among himself and his brothers Hades and Poseidon, and Zeus ruled over the heavens. Hades was given the underworld, and Poseidon gained the sea. Zeus was married to Hera, who was mad at Zeus because of his numerous infidelities to her, some of which brought forth children, among them Hercules and Athena. Now Poseidon, another son of Rhea and Cronus, ruled over the sea and the ocean. Poseidon was referred to by the Romans as Neptune and maintained his independence from Zeus. Poseidon was married to Amphitrite, who was a Nereid. When the Athenians made Athena their deity, Poseidon flooded the city and the surrounding land. Kindly support my Patreon account, since YouTube has again demonetized my YouTube channel. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support, and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below. In Greek mythology, Atlas was the son of Iapetus and the nymph Clymene, and was said to carry the world upon his shoulders. When he fought against Zeus with the older divine titans, he was made to carry the globe as a punishment. So the legend goes. Moreover, Atlas kept watch over the divine fruit in the west at the shores of the Atlantic Ocean. Some Greek sources report that he was a great astronomer and therefore carries the firmament with the 12 signs of the zodiac on his shoulders. Gaia was the earth and great mother that gave birth to the sky god Uranus. Cronus, the youngest son of Gaia, was against Uranus, and as a result, heaven and earth got separated. The story about the separation of heaven and earth can also be found in Asiatic mythology. Moreover, the Bible includes that altered version of the creation of the world, as well as its inundation with cataclysms and a massive global flood, the Great Flood, the Deluge, as we know. The writings of numerous classical philosophers include records of vanished islands and continents. In one of the most famous writings, Critias, Plato reminds us that our Earth has been witness to periodic cyclical cataclysms, which often culminate in the total loss of civilization. Quote, "You remember only one deluge, though there have been many. You and your fellow citizens are descending from the few survivors that remained, but you know nothing about it because so many succeeding generations left no record in writing. The change in the rising and setting of the sun and the other heavenly bodies, how in those times they used to set in the quarter where they now rise, and used to rise where they now set. If all the changes which take place in the heavens is reversal, this reversal is the greatest and most complete. There is, at that time, great destruction of animals in general, and only a small part of the human race survives." End quote. This is by Critias, Plato, 360 BC. Isocrates, 436 to 338 BC, a Greek philosopher, held the view that Plato's writings embodied a derivation of the Egyptian state system. Posidonius, of 135 to 51 BC, philosopher and intellectual leader of Cicero, claims that Plato is right. Plutarch, from 46 to 120 AD, mentions a continent named Saturnia and an island called Ogygia, which are supposed to be situated 5 days' journey west of Britain. These islands of the blessed, quote unquote, had mild seasons and were assumed to be the Elysian fields praised by Homer. Homer, 8th century BC, prior to Solon and Plato, writes in his Odyssey about the island of Scheria in the Western Ocean. Scheria was home of the Phoenicians, who had temples of walls of which were decorated with pure ore, and the moldings were made of blue steel. The city's core was surrounded by a circular wall, and there were all sorts of fruit, he said. Moreover, the city had 2 springs. No doubt it was a wealthy land. In this section of the Odyssey, it is almost possible to reconcile the descriptions of the island of Scheria with Atlantis. Before Ulysses came to the island of the Phoenicians, he was held prisoner on the island of Ogygia, which belonged to Callisto, a daughter of Atlas. It took an 18 days journey from this island of Scheria. Finally, it was Poseidon, assumed founder of Atlantis, who inflicted these exhausting voyages on him. Diodorus Siculus, 100 BC, writes about a war between the Amazons and a nation called the Atlanteans, that was located a several days' journey from Libya. This mighty empire was divided among the sons of Uranus, the most famous among them being Kronos. Furthermore, Siculus reports that this empire was very wealthy and also had mild climatic conditions. The empire was named after Atlas, the island's highest mountain. Crantor, 330 to 275 BC, states that he saw the scrolls in the story of Atlantis, and in addition he says that other ancient witnesses also mention a huge continent situated in the Atlantic Ocean. The capital of the island was named Poseidonis, after Poseidon, the god of the sea and patron of the Atlantic Ocean. These various comments seem to resemble each other in many respects, although they have different origins. In the Mediterranean area, in ancient Egypt, in Mesoamerica, in Mesopotamia, all over the world, myths and legends of a sunken continent in the Atlantic Ocean are widespread and plausible, just as the legend of Troy, as described by Homer in his Odyssey, became archaeologically reality. The very proof that Troy had been found and excavated by the pioneering German archaeologist Schliemann shows that there is substantial truth behind the ancient legends. So we should not allow correctness to continue to replace scientific correctness, as seems to be the case in this era. This is by Atlantean Gardens on Humans Are Free. Please leave your comments and thank you for your support.